Alright, this is going to be like a continuation. We got weirdest crimes of 2024.
Authorities in Houston County, Alabama say that a 39-year-old woman is facing charges following a bizarre incident earlier this month in which she allegedly called in a fake crime because she was scared of the weather. According to reports, the whole thing started sometime on January 9th when police in the city of Dothan received a 911 call from a local woman named Kelly Carol Ginebra. The 39-year-old allegedly stated that she needed officers at her property right away because there was a burglary in progress. However, after responding to the scene, police quickly determined that no such crime was taking place. They questioned Ginebra, who allegedly revealed the truth about why she had called. She was scared of the bad weather that was going on that day, and she wanted officers to come to her house quickly. While there apparently was quite a bit of rain and a couple of tornadoes spotted in the area that day, if anything, this is arguably all the more reason why Ginebra shouldn't have been wasting police resources. Unsurprisingly, she was arrested after admitting to the fake call and has now been charged with making a false report.
Representatives from South Carolina's Lawrence County Sheriff's Office say that a local couple are facing charges this week after they led deputies on multiple chases across 2 counties, traveling in a badly spray-painted car that was allegedly full of animals. The whole thing started at around 9 a.m. on January 29th, when Lawrence County deputies spotted a black Honda sedan with expired tags in the town of Graycourt. The man behind the wheel, later identified as Joshua Harvey, was also driving erratically and appeared to be swerving in and out of lanes, causing police to attempt to perform a traffic stop. Rather than pulling over, though, Harvey allegedly sped off, prompting a chase. This continued until Harvey crossed over into Greenville County. At this point, deputies decided to call off the pursuit, opting instead to search the area around Harvey's home. The tactic appeared to work when the Honda was spotted again around 2:45 p.m. This was despite Harvey's comical and ridiculous attempt to fool authorities by spray painting part of the vehicle white. Even with the laughably bad paint job, Harvey managed to get away from authorities a second time when they once again decided to forego a chase due to safety reasons. It was around the end of the school day, and police didn't want to put anyone in danger. Harvey's luck finally ran out a little while later when he was seen for a third time on Highway 14 heading towards Interstate 385. The vehicle was easy to spot, not just because of the spray paint, but because his girlfriend, Rosie Smith, who was now behind the wheel, was also driving recklessly. When the vehicle was finally immobilized, officers found one final surprise waiting for them in the back seat. It turned out that in addition to the couple, passengers in the car included a dog, a cat, and 4 chickens. Harvey and Smith were arrested at the scene and are now each facing charges. Harvey.
I thought that was a dude. That does not look like a girl. That does not look like a woman. That looks like a man. That looks like a teenage boy. Okay. They done tricked me. I'm thinking that that's his brother or something. They look like brothers. They could be distant related cousins. You never know.
He was charged with failure to stop, while Smith was charged with failure to stop, DUI, 2 counts of ill treatment of animals, driving under a suspension, and other charges.
Authorities in Volusia County, Florida say that a New York man was placed under arrest this week after he took his truck on a joyride into the ocean on a closed beach, then gave a bizarre excuse for his actions. According to reports, the whole thing started just before 9 a.m. on February 6th when Volusia County officers were called to the oceanfront in the city of New Smyrna Beach. Lifeguards had contacted them after spotting a man in a white Dodge Ram pickup truck who appeared to be driving his vehicle into the water. In footage of the incident, the suspect, 48-year-old New York man Jason Bruskovich, can be seen driving through the waves and backing up directly into the surf. At one point, he even appears to attempt a donut. At the time, authorities say that the beach had been closed due to severe winds and high tide, and there was a real danger of the 48-year-old and his vehicle being swept away. He apparently got onto the beach in the first place by driving around its closed gates, which were clearly marked "Do Not Enter." Of course, that didn't stop Bruskovich from giving police a strange excuse when he was subsequently placed under arrest. While speaking to officers while being detained, he can be heard saying, quote, "It's not my fault the truck don't surf," and "I thought I was in England." As ridiculous as the situation was, it doesn't seem like the 48-year-old is going to be facing any penalties that are that severe. He was charged with violating a local county ordinance and failing to pay a vehicular access fee and was held on $200 bond. Authorities in Calgary, Alberta say that a local drug dealer's entrepreneurial spirit may have landed him in jail this week after he recently tried a rather unique marketing technique to drum up new business. According to reports, the whole thing started on Christmas Eve 2023 when Calgary police received a tip about unusual drug activity outside of a casino in the city's downtown. When they looked into the situation, they learned that someone had been handing out business cards to patrons of the business, ones that had quite the interesting free sample attached, a small baggie of cocaine. With little other information on the business card other than the name Alex Lee, authorities didn't have much to go on. However, after 6 weeks of investigation, they were apparently able to crack the case. On February 3rd, officers conducted a traffic stop on a white 2020 Toyota Tundra. What they found inside was enough to arrest the driver, 30-year-old Saeed Amir Razavi, as well as help them to obtain a search warrant for his residence on Beaconsfield Place, Northwest. During the subsequent search, police recovered $1,280 in cash, 60 grams of cocaine that had been divided into more than 50 small baggies, and most damning of all, a box of those business cards with the name Alex Lee on them. At the time of this recording, Razavi has been charged with 2 counts of trafficking a controlled substance, 1 count of possession for the purpose of trafficking, and 3 counts of possession of proceeds of crime under $5,000. He has since been released from custody, with his next court date scheduled for February 26th.
Representatives from California's Beverly Hills Police Department say that they recently captured a not-so-smooth criminal after he was spotted during the middle of a burglary and attempted to flee, only to be captured on camera taking an unplanned plunge into the victim's pool. According to reports, the whole thing started sometime back on January 6th, when a homeowner called police about a burglary in progress at their residence on the 300 block of South Palm Drive. The victim wasn't home at the time. However, they were alerted to what was going on after security cameras there activated and showed that an unknown man was inside. When officers responded to the scene, the suspect, later identified as 36-year-old David Verdun, reportedly tried to flee, but quickly found himself in a bit of a pickle. After climbing out a back window, he realized he was going to need help getting over the high backyard walls. For a moment, it must have seemed like Verdun was in luck when he found a ladder that was long enough to get over the wall. However, that luck was quickly about to change in a pretty hilarious way. And thankfully, an aerial police drone was there to capture this beautiful footage.
No, what he did.
After taking his embarrassing impromptu dip into the pool, Verdun apparently tried to hide in the yard, but he was quickly found by police. He was arrested and is currently facing burglary charges. Authorities in Oconee County, South Carolina say that a local woman is in custody this week after she allegedly crossed state lines during a car chase and damaged a cemetery, then offered a rather bizarre excuse for her actions. The whole thing started one evening last week when deputies from the Oconee County Sheriff's Office spotted a woman driving recklessly down Interstate 85. They attempted to pull her over, but she allegedly refused, prompting a chase. That chase reportedly continued over the state line into the city of Livonia, Georgia, where the woman pulled an even more desperate maneuver. According to police, she attempted to cut through a local cemetery, hitting and damaging a number of graves in the process. She disabled her vehicle a short time after this, at which point she attempted to flee on foot, but was quickly captured. Following the woman's arrest, she apparently had this to say. She claimed that she had run from police and cut through the cemetery because she was, quote, late for an appointment. Needless to say, this excuse did not fly with authorities, who now say that the woman will spend some time in local custody before being transported back to South Carolina to face charges. At the time of this recording, the woman's name has not been released. Authorities in the city of Boaz, Alabama say that a 27-year-old local mother is facing child abuse charges this week after she allegedly forced her young son to walk home from school as punishment, then ran him over after the situation got out of hand. According to reports, the whole thing started at around 3:30 p.m. on February 9th, when the mother in question, Sarai Rachel James, picked up her 7-year-old son from school. When she did, she learned from the boy's principal that he had gotten in trouble for something earlier that morning. Deciding that her son needed to be punished, James reportedly stopped her vehicle shortly after leaving the school and told the 7-year-old to get out. She said as punishment, he would have to walk the rest of the way home, a distance of about 8 blocks. This went on for some time, with James reportedly driving alongside her son or slightly behind him, until at one point she apparently slowed down. That's when the boy apparently grabbed one of the door handles of the car, presumably in an attempt to get back inside. Rather than stopping, James allegedly accelerated, causing the 7-year-old to be dragged underneath. One of the vehicle's rear tires ran over the boy, causing abrasions to his back and the side of his head. While thankfully the child's injuries were not all that serious, following the incident, police rightfully pointed out that the boy never would have been in that situation in the first place if his mother hadn't decided to punish him. I would take it a step further. He never would have been in that situation in the first place if his mother wasn't a idiot. According to reports, James was arrested after all of this and has now been charged with aggravated child abuse. She has since been released on a $50,000 bond, though has been barred from having any contact with her son. Another 53-year-old woman who was reportedly in the car at the time was charged with endangering the welfare of a child.
Oh, so you just gonna drag your son under a car after he tried to get back in? Insane. Like, bro, every child deserves a parent, but not every parent deserves a child. Yeah.
We can't rob the plug. Someone touch that man and he'll be dodging us. Gotta get that fix. Drowning in the six. Why they disinterest? I get high up fit. I'm gon' put the gang onto some bread before a bitch.